Hello and welcome to another lesson. In a previous lesson, you were asked to have the turtle draw out a square by using a for loop. So you were asked to write that program. And so here's the solution to exercise 1B. And so let's go back to our for loop file. And so we still have this from turtle import command, which we have to have in order to have access to the forward and right functions. So I'm going to type in for I in range, and then in parentheses for colon, and then enter a return. Notice the indentation that arises forward, and then in parentheses 100, enter a return, right, and then in parentheses 90. And so let's run this program and see what happens. I'm going to save it. And as expected, a square is drawn as the turtle moves. Okay, so now what if we wanted to use the code that we just wrote to draw a square in another program? So you can do so by creating a function that can be called upon within another piece of code without having to paste or write the code again. Functions can make code more compact and easier to maintain. You have already used functions that are part of the turtle module, such as forward and right. To define a function in Python, you start by giving it a name. You have to make sure that the name is not a Python keyword like list, range, etc. We will call our function draw square, and that is what we will have to enter to call the function. So in the logoturtle.py file, enter the following. So let's open that file. So I'm going to go to the IDLE. Actually, I might have it open already. Yeah. So this is the logo. So I'm going to put this in again. I'm going to erase this for now. So from turtle import, so make sure that you have that always in all your files. And then shape turtle. Sure that's in single quotes. Enter a return. So I'm going to define the function. So to define, we use the command dev or def. Dev draw square. Colon is important here. Enter or return for I in range 4, colon again, enter or return, forward 100, enter or return, and then right 90 in parentheses. Now notice the indentation here. So indentation is very important in Python. Fortunately, the programs that you're going to use in order to write the code will indent them automatically without you having to do any of the indenting. But if the indentations aren't right, then the program actually won't run. It won't execute properly. It will give errors. So let's try running this. Let's see what happens. So I'm going to save this file first, then go to run module. And interestingly enough, nothing happens. The turtle is there. We can see the turtle, but it's not moving. So what is the issue here? So we have defined the function, but we actually have not called it. So this is code for drawing a square, but we actually need to get this code to run. So if we want this code to execute, we would actually have to call the function. And so the key here is you have to leave this block. So the way you leave this block is when you press enter or return, and let's say you press it again, the way to leave this block is to press backspace twice or enter or delete twice. Okay, to go back here to this line. Because so calling the function, you actually have to kind of like exit the function. And the way you exit the function is by pressing backspace or delete twice. So now we're on this line. And I'm going to call the draw square function. And all I do is I just type its name, followed by an opening parenthesis and a closing parenthesis. And so now if I run this code, let's see what happens. So now it does what we expected to draw a square. Okay, so that's important to remember that you have to actually call the function, otherwise whatever code is in the function will not actually execute. And so that's now what your completed code should look like. Now the function above can be used in a loop to draw something more interesting looking. You can make the turtle move faster by adding the command speed 0. Speed 0 is the fastest that the turtle can move. So let's try that. So if I add, so now normally you would want to add this higher up in the code because lines are executed in order, or Python reads this in order. So speed 0, just going to put it after the shape turtle command. And so let's run this and see if there's any change in how it runs. So it's super fast, right? Like we can see how it's almost instantaneous that we don't even almost see the square being drawn. Now, what if we wanted to go really slowly? Then we would use speed 1. So that's the slowest that it can go. And let's run this again. So now it's quite slow. Still fast, but yeah, this is the slowest that the turtle moves. And then there's other speeds like speed 5, let's say. So this would be somewhere in between, probably a moderate speed. Yeah, it's quite fast. So you can also try other speeds out, like speed 3 and 7, if you like. Now for the next exercise, you're going to be using speed 0. Okay, so make sure that you have that command earlier on in your code. And so this is what you're going to be doing for exercise 2. You're going to draw a circle of squares. So you're going to create a program that draws a circle of squares. You're going to define and call a function that draws 60 squares, turning right 5 degrees after each square is drawn. The end result after the program is executed should look like this. Okay, so that's ultimately what it would look like. Okay, so good luck completing this exercise, and I'll see you in the next lesson.